It's 1999. Mika Häkkinen is the F1 world champion, and their main rivals Ferrari and Michael Schumacher are starting to get their act together and are becoming a legitimate threat. 99 was going to be, I think, the year Ferrari and Michael were actually going to win the title with the Ferrari F399. However, one moment disrupted the entire season. The British Grand Prix, Michael Schumacher has a brake failure during the race, which sends him into the barrier and breaking his leg. That essentially puts an end to his season. However, he returns ahead of schedule after 4 months for the Malaysian Grand Prix in 1999, essentially back to be a number 2 and a backup driver rig gunner for Eddie Irvine, and everyone was shocked at the result on Saturday in qualifying when in his return race Michael bagged pole by pretty much 1 full second over his teammate and also the McLarens. It was incredible the pace Michael had in his return, and it just showed that him and that car combo that year were destined for the title, but they won it the year after. Unfortunately, what could have been an 8th World Championship in retrospect wasn't to be. The time to beat in this one, a 39.6. This is another episode of Can I Beat the Pole Time? Retro or Classic Edition. And this is one that is quite close to my heart. One that I think is very, very underrated in terms of one of the best pole laps of all time. And we're going to try and beat it here today. So, back at Sepang at Malaysia, a fan favourite, which also I think is going to help you guys enjoy this video. But let's get to it then. Driving the Ferrari F399. Way less downforce than what we're used to nowadays. Going to try and set a banker with a default setup first and foremost, and then we'll start to always, tune the car and get things working as we want them to. No traction control. The V10 horsepower in this thing. Back in this day, the V10s didn't rev as high as towards the end of their life, in 2005 and 2004, when they were really pushing that 18 to 19,000 RPM range. Nicely done there through the long left and the right. Let's see if we can try and put together a decent lap as a banker. Through the double right-hander. A little bit bottoming out on the curb there as we now head down to the hairpin. On the anchors, nicely stopped. Good traction in second. So much understeer. But the back end does feel pretty lively at the same time, so we've got to be careful. Through that long right-hander. Now, can we keep it flat through here? Nope, that's going to be a bit of a lift. It might be flat once we make some adjustments, take some fuel out of the car, put some soft tyres on. Through the very tricky penultimate corner off camber. And now making our way down the back straight. Down to the final corner. This looks pretty good already, lap time wise, I think. Not sure where to brake, trying to find a braking point. Through the final corner. Power down early. Slightly on the grass there. Across the line, and it's going to be a 1:43.3 as an initial lap. That's not too shabby. Let's make some adjustments. This one could be possible. Hopefully the car will improve drastically with some gear changes and also some tyre compound changes and also some wing adjustment. So let's get to it. Now I've made some changes. The car's going to be a lot better. It already feels a lot better on the outlap. One thing to note is that I accidentally restarted the session instead of returning to garage. So we've lost our banker, which isn't much of a reference, but not a big deal. Anyway, we'll keep on going and look to improve. So soft tyres on. We have now put in a much lower fuel load, and we're also making some wing adjustments and gearbox adjustments, so the gearbox is a lot shorter, which should give us easier access to 7th gear and hopefully hit the top of the rev range a bit easier. So let's see then, as we go on to our second attempt, let's try and sort this out. On the brakes, be patient on the downshifts, just wait a little bit, keep the car hooked into 1 and then throw it into 2, use that camber and get the nose in, use the traction control on the exit through turn 3 as we plunge down to 4, spot the 100, second gear, be patient on the throttle here on exit. Obviously we have no splits, no references, so no idea what we're looking at. 6th gear this time through here. Down to 5th for the direction change. Nicely done through there. At 50, brake down a couple of gears, hold it in 4th. A little bit of understeer on the exit there as we bottom out. 100 again for the hairpin. Not going to get all the apex, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Still a slight confidence lift there on the exit as we take a beautiful wide line there through the right-hander. Now then, is it flat this time? Yes, it is. Oh, big snap. Get the car stopped, straight line braking. Didn't quite get the apex. In 3rd gear, probably not ideal, so slight error there. But the lap has been very good. It felt very good. One more corner to go before we see what it is. Braking at about 70 meters. Get the apex. Patient on exit. Little short shift. Up to the line we go. Okay. 40.6. That's pretty decent. That's a second away. We've essentially now matched 2nd place already. But we still have a second to find to beat Michael. So back to the drawing board. Obviously, back in 1999, I believe they qualified on race fuel load tanks. So I don't think we can run this like super low. So we'll do a bit more fuel adjustment, but not too much. Now for this one, I've only made some very small tweaks to the wings, and you know, that's pretty much it. I'm very happy with the car balance. I'm going to try and commit and carry a bit more speed in certain corners. I have reduced the fuel a little bit. There was a big mistake in this corner, so there's time to find here as well. So I think we could do it on this lap. So one thing I will ask, guys, if any of you know what the regulation was in 99, I can't remember. I've tried to look it up, but I can't quite find a definitive answer. If the car's qualified on a single lap fuel load or on race fuel loads. I know it was a 1 hour session where they did 12 time laps over the 1 hour, but I don't know what the fuel load was. Either way, I'm going to basically treat it as they qualified on race fuel, so we're not going to run super low fuel for this one, so bear that in mind. So with that out of the picture, let's get to it and let's just try and push. So turn 1, trying to stay tight. Turn 2, get that direction flick into there. A little bit of a drift, which helps. Kick the back end out. Let's try and stay a little bit tighter through turn 3 to gain a bit of lap time. So we now head down to 4. Spot the 100. Second gear, clip the inside curb, get the power down a bit earlier. Already up by 6 100ths, but we know the chunk of the time, the bulk of it, is in that final sector. A bit wide there, didn't get the apex through the right, but we do carry decent speed. A little bit after the 50 there, didn't get the first apex or the second, but just trying to maintain good corner speed. Hairpin. This time we do get down to the apex, unlike on the last run. Power down early, going to keep it flat. And we hold it. A bit wide through there, back end trying to float away. But I just saw a flash of green, so we are up in the middle sector. Now let's keep it tidy through here. Break a little bit earlier. There we go, that's the apex. Maybe she rubbed off a bit too much speed, but let's see. This is going to be close. Let's keep it tight at the final corner. A bit wide of the apex there, not exactly ideal. We do get a good exit though and get the power down pretty nicely. Up to the line. Oh wow. Slower, even with that mistake. I'm going to try and go again. We've got the fuel for it, so the tyres don't seem too warm, so we can go again. So let's just go for a cool down and go for another push. No energy modes or anything to, you know, recharge, so we can go again pretty much. Right, another attempt. Let's see. Hopefully this one will be an improvement. That was a much better exit out the final corner to start the lap. Let's see what we can do then. Turn 1. Patience, let the car rotate. Further the throttle, try to open up turn 2 a little bit more. Good exit. Try and make the traction control work a little bit less so that we can get a better exit overall. Turn 4. Right on the apex. Power down super early. 3/10 up in sector 1. That's more like it. Gonna try and carry a bit more speed. Bit of a lift and a downshift as we go through the direction change. That's a lot more like it. That's what I'm talking about right there. bit wide and a bit of a slide through the double right, so that's going to cost us some time after I tweak the brake bars through there. To the hairpin, letting go of the brake, trying to carry a bit more minimum speed. Slight lift to try and minimise traction control. Nice and tight to the apex there through the right. And we're up by 0.6. This is now a lot more competitive. Flat through the chicane. Back end fighting like on that previous lap, took the slip out there. I'm trying to avoid that exit curb, which likes to drag us out wide. This is going to be competitive. Let's try and spot 70-75 metres here on the left. Wide entry, let's not go in early, let's be patient. Very nice, this was a really good lap. This might do it, up to the line. Yes, 39.5. We do it by 1/10. That's the improvement I was looking for, which we didn't quite get the last time. I think I just didn't commit enough. There's more time in it, so I'm going to go one more time with engine sound for you guys, and I'm going to try to shave off a little more lap time and hopefully get to the low 39s. What a lap. Very happy with that. The second lap seems to be very strong. If you can do 2 back-to-back laps, or maybe like a warm-up lap, and then a second warm-up lap, and then kind of, you know, go for your best one, that makes this car work really well. No batteries, no KERS, no DRS, nothing. Just put a bit of fuel in, tyres are rock hard, just drive them flat out, and you can have a lot of fun. So, job done, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Now then, as always, setup time. So for this one, I basically brought the final gear ratio down by a click. It made the gears work really well, and they just seamlessly, worked for every corner. Very simple adjustment, very straightforward, and it felt very natural, and the car felt great. Tyres, I went for softs, and I reduced the front pressures by 1 click each to kind of balance out the tyre pressures. Fuel was set to not 58 litres. My best lap, I believe, was on 25, which is probably on the lower end. Knowing what I know now, I probably could have done that on 30. Still probably on the lower end as well. Probably could have pushed it with 35. I probably could have still beaten it, considering we, did a 38.8. So I probably could have gone like 35, maybe even 40 at a push. So yeah, definitely on the lower side. So let me know in the comments down below on the fuel. Electronics, traction control was not set to off. That has reset. I had it set to level 3. Aero was set to 1922, and then everything else was default. Car felt great, really well balanced. Brake bars 51.5 on the best lap, so I made a small in-car adjustment just to kind of reduce rear locking, and then everything else was default. So yeah guys, an absolute beauty, and I think this car should have won a championship. It did win the Constructors, but not the Drivers, which I think was Michael's title to win that year. However, it is what it is, a piece of history, a very underrated car, a very underrated pole lap, and a piece of F1 history. Like and subscribe. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes on this video, guys. Maybe even 1,250. Why not? Links down below, guys, to the track and the car. Go check those mods out down below. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, guys, just watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.